If I could describe Tucson real estate with only a few words, it would be resilient, strong, and sleeping. My name is Mason, and this is your Tucson April 2024 real estate market update. Now, I love digging into the numbers and looking at all the data, and I've said it in my previous videos that we came out of a historically slow winter, and there were a number of factors, both internal and external to the housing market, that caused this. What I've also said previously was that Tucson is a sleeping giant, and every year we hit our springtime rush, and that's when we see the most amount of transactions from both buyers and sellers in the early months and mid months of spring and even into early summer. I have been so eager and anxious to see the numbers for March, and now that we're into April, those numbers are out, and I can tell you whether I'm looking back at the last month of March or the last decade, Tucson has done very well. Now, as always, I'm going to give you the numbers as I see them, and I'm going to give you the pros and cons of being both the seller and the buyer in this market and what you guys should look out for. But first, let's take a look at both median and average sale price. Coming out of March, your average sale price for a single family home in Tucson was $498,000. Now, the previous month of February was $457,000. And if we look year over year, the average sale price is up 17.1%. Now, I don't need to explain to you that a 17% 12-month return is phenomenal, but let's look at the median where those numbers aren't as crazy as an average. The median for Tucson single-family homes in March was $385,000. In the previous month of February, it was $371,000, so we're up about $14,000. If we look at the year-over-year median rise, we are up 10.9%, and just like the average, being up 11% year-over-year is phenomenal. Again, whether I'm looking back a month, a year, or a decade, and I'll have those numbers for you here shortly, Tucson has seen good appreciation year-over-year from month to month and over the last 10 years here in our sleepy little town. The next one is very important to me. Whether you're a buyer or seller, this is the days on market. How long does your home sit on the market until you get an offer and go under contract? Now, the average days on market for Tucson single family homes in March was 39 days. So just a little over a month on average a home takes to sell. Now, the median was 17 days. The days on market is always very important to me, whether you're a buyer or a seller. And if you're a seller, knowing the days on market, whether it's Tucson as a whole or your specific zip code, allows us to set realistic expectations and adjust timelines so that you have a good idea of how long it might take for your home to hit the market, go under contract, and eventually close. Now, something I've experienced personally with the families that I'm helping recently is that a buyer might see a home on the market for 20 days. Well, what they don't know is the average days on market might be triple that. So they're thinking they're going to get a good deal. And what I tell them is we're not really in the area where buyers can really gouge those prices. Now, Tucson specifically averages 39 days. If a home is sitting at 40, 50, 60 days, then myself as a buyer's agent know they're probably soft on the price. And we as the buyers can either get a good discount, get some concessions, or negotiate something else for the best interest of the buyer. Now that leads me into the next point that I want to make in the next set of data. This is specific to sellers and buyers, but more so sellers. The average list price received for your home. So if you list at $500,000, this is on average how much you can expect to make. 100% would be $500,000. Sellers on average in Tucson lose 1.32%. If you have a $500,000 house, that's about $7,000 off your asking price. Now, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, 1 to 1.5% is not a huge deal if you're taking that hit. Whereas if we rewind a few years ago, sellers were taking huge losses on their homes, and that was not good to see. Fast forward past those years, and sellers were making 105, 110% of what they listed their home for after the COVID years, which we know probably aren't going to return. If you're a buyer and you see that sellers are making close to what they are listing their home for, so let's call it 99% of list price, that tells you that it's still a pretty competitive market, and you're probably not going to be able to get a huge discount. Although this is a case-by-case basis, you have to look at the data to know how to structure your offer and how to approach the home that you want. Now, one of the best and most important categories to look at is the competition within price ranges. Coming in at number one are homes that were valued anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000. Of the homes that sold in March, those homes from $300,000 to $400,000 made up a third of all sales during last month. Coming in at second are homes listed from $200,000 to $300,000, and in third place are homes from $400,000 to $500,000. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, this is very important to know and understand. Specifically, if you're a buyer and you are looking at a home that is anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000, it's almost certain that you're going to have some sort of competition. With inventory where it's at, with the competition and the amount of activity we're seeing in this spring market, you need to be very sure of what you're getting into and make sure your offers are strong and are able to beat out the competition. If you're a seller and you're in any one of those price ranges from $200,000 to $500,000, you can expect some good activity. Now, this should go without saying, but you can't ignore fair and appropriate pricing. Make sure that you have a real estate agent that understands the comps, understands the appraisal process, and everything that goes into your home, whether it's a standard stucco frame new build or an extravagant decked out upgraded home. No matter what type of market we're in or how busy or how slow we are, pricing always matters. And if you as the seller want to maximize your money that you're going to take home, pricing matters, and you need to make sure that you're bringing as much attention, whether it's eyeballs or feet through your door, to your home, and that way it increases the chances of getting multiple offers. Now, lastly, one that not everyone pays attention to, but I like looking at it, is the price per square foot. And the median price per square foot coming out of March now into April was $222. Year over year, that is up 4.7%. The average price per square foot came in at $238. Now, lastly, what I always finish off with are zip codes and how they performed and what are the top performing zip codes in Tucson. Looking at the amount of sales, the most popular and most transacted zip code for March was 85756 at 51 homes sold. Second place was 85747 at 50, and 85745 on the west side rounded out third place at 39 homes sold. The second rankings that I look at are the median price points for zip codes, ranking them from highest to lowest. And in March, 85718 took first place at 1.225 million. 85749 came in at second in the Northeast at 782,000. And rounding out third place was 85750 at 765,000. Again, those are the median price points for March in those zip codes. Last but not least are going to be the median days on market. Again, this is looking at zip codes and how quickly homes sold and what were the top performers. Tied for first place was 85704 and 48 at median days on market of 5. Coming in at second and another tie was 85755 and 85715 at 6 days on market. And rounding out third place was 85741 at 7 median days on market. I really appreciate you guys watching, and if you haven't already learned, I'm a huge numbers and data nerd. Specifically with housing, we can go back 100 years and look at history and how the market's performed. And I can tell you, Tucson is very resilient and is an upward trajectory when it comes to home appreciation and home values. If you've enjoyed this video, then I'm going to put out a few more videos specifically about the luxury home price points here in town, as well as the town that I live in, which is Vail in the southeast Tucson. Thank you guys for watching, and if you can, hit that like button and please subscribe. I love what it is I do, so if you guys have any questions or want me to dive deeper in a certain area, or you are considering buying or selling, leave a comment, shoot me a message, or reach out. My information is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Mason in Tucson. I'll see you in the next video.